period. Right now, the floor is open to speak with a 3-minute limit on posted agenda items. Vicki, did we have anybody sign up for that?
No, ma'am.
Right, no speakers from the public today. The next item of business is a review and approval of the meeting minutes for the June 15th meeting. Has everybody had the opportunity to review those?
Yes, move to approve.
All right, we've got a motion.
Second.
All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Next item of business is our financial information. Good morning, Blake.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Alrighty, we have a 2-month cash flow review here to take us to the end of the year. Short and sweet as usual. Beginning cash as it ended in April is 4.5 mil. Significant cash receipts, we have the VSBFA bond administrative fee share of $18,000. I believe we account for 47% of the total fee share in the area. Just a little bit of bank interest income over 2 months. Significant cash disbursements. We have 2 months of conduit management fees at Corporate Landing for $13,000 apiece. $33,884 to Vanessa Hang and Brosland for April engineering services, and $10,000 to Tip Strategies for the strategic plan. And that's the third out of 4 payments. Alrighty, moving on quickly. For the incentive accounts, beginning cash is $2.6 million. This is a time of year where cash typically goes out. Significant cash receipts, $588,000 as an Atlantic Park expense reimbursement from the city capital projects, several capital projects, and of that amount, the 357 on the next line of the disbursements out of 199,000 of that amount was reimbursed in the 588. And the other amount would be reimbursed here in July. $14,000 to Jones at 1888 for APC1 fees reimbursable. $16,000, $17,000 as the final payment to Lingerfelt to conclude their EDIP Part A. $93,000 to Apex as their initial employment EDIP Part A payment. We've returned $217,000 to the state for the Commonwealth Opportunity Funds for LifeNet Health. That was in the works for quite some time. I was kind of briefing towards that, and we're on our way to returning that money. And $347,367 of Iowa Initiative funding for management fees, reimbursable construction expenses to facility logics. And I usually break that out a little more, but I ran out of this slide and didn't want to create another one. Any questions? Our ending cash in the EDIP funds is $2.1 million.
Like you said, we're on our way to returning the rest of the COF reimbursement to the state. How much more is left on that?
I'm sorry, that's all of it.
That's all of it,
That's
okay.
all that remains. It was just in the works for quite a while as the state told us how they wanted to receive the funds.
All right, any questions for Blake? No.
All right, thanks very much.
Thank you, Blake. We appreciate it. Next item is a request for approval of the fiscal year 2022 budget for Facility Logics. Devin.
Madam Chair and members of the authority.
Good morning.
Presenting today about the Virginia Beach Bio budget approval with Facility Logics for FY22. You go to the next slide. This is their disclosures. The one thing I do want to bring the attention to as part of the management agreement, they have hired their facility on-site representative in Kelly Gwynn. That's something new. You go to the next slide. As a reminder of the project, it is the Bio Accelerator space, which is compatible with Biosafety Level 2. I'm learning a lot about that recently. There is a lot to still learn. This is the next step in the bio industry. One thing I've also realized in the last couple weeks in learning about this is really the first of its kind outside of college campuses. So we are on the cutting edge of the industry here. The premises is right down the road in Convergence 2. It's 5,700 square feet. And right now we are working with Facility Logics. They are doing the ongoing management. They've done the build out, and today we're here for their budget approval for this fiscal year. It was broken out into 3 agreements. The consultant agreement with Facility Logics, that has concluded. the fee development agreement, and I do apologize, I realized this morning I should have that as concluding, because there's still some extra costs coming in, the final details. And then the property management agreement that is ongoing till January 2022. So update of the project itself with the progress. The grand opening will be August 4th. That is for you all as members of the authority, as well as city council and some other representatives who were on the feasibility study. The accelerator build out is complete, so the final details are mostly some equipment coming in for lab spaces that have been back ordered, maybe some final punch list stuff, but majority of it I would say is 99% done. The potential tenants are scheduling one-on-one tours. We're trying to get in for some Zoom calls with them as well. They all are right now from the Bio Challenge, the winners, so we are trying to reconnect with them, re-engage them into this space, and as well as marketing both domestic and international to other startups in the area. We are working to get a second opening, which would be with our colleges in the area, and also compatible companies. Our idea there is to really build some networking and programming with them, especially for the colleges, since this is outside of, if they're doing their research on college campuses, they graduate, where can they graduate into? And we really hope it's going to be in our bio accelerator space here. This is an overview of our membership rates. I kept it simple. There is more in depth of the differences for the office rates and the lab rates, but we do have 6 labs that are shared lab spaces. There's 3 tech labs and 2 wet lab spaces, and then there's 7 offices that they can rent. Part of their membership also includes conference rooms that they can utilize as well. And one thing that's going to be exciting about this is for the virtual membership, that's really going to help us engage the international startups to get a U.S. post addressed here. And that can hopefully give them an avenue to base out of Virginia Beach here. I wanted to show you a little bit of the completed space. This is some of the labs and the shared office space in the space. And then this was new that we found out late last week, is that the architect was actually highlighted in this magazine, The Resource Through Design. And we have a great video coming out, but there's a great article, and I'll be sure to share that with you all after this meeting. And then here is the operating budget. I know it's small in here. I was able to get in your Google Drives the actual PDF version if you want to review that. This is on par exactly with what they presented as projections out for the next few years. And then you go to the next, this is the completed one. And so we are asking for approval of their budget for fiscal year 2022, retroactive to July 1st. And they did have it submitted by their deadline of July 1st. And we were deferred from last meeting. Any questions?
All right, any questions for Devin? Looking forward to seeing the space. It does look like they're doing a nice job.
I'll move it. Second.
So we've got a motion and a second on the fiscal year 2022 budget. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
I'm always been opposed to this money, you know that.
Motion carries. Thank David Byrne, I think, and Franklin. Alan Franklin. All right, the next item is the Virginia Beach Amphitheater, request for approval of stormwater pipe and cave-in repairs.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning.
So we were contacted by United Nations. We have found out some cave-ins due to a 27-inch stormwater pipe that needs some repairs. This is in a very active area in the back of the property. Their first show is on August 5th, and the estimated cost is $22,252. We're getting this work done through the Public Works contact. Those are the ones that they have, that Live Nations had contacted first. It's still a preferential rate. We have to go through some accounting thanks to get to the public works contract, but we have the money appropriated in the capital funds. We also have to replace a fence as well. So all of that for a total cost of $21,697,000. And I ask the board if could approve those repairs.
Yes.
The cost split that you see is from the lease where we share all capital expenses. It's 50-something, 40-something. Just blow out my head, but that's where that math came from.
And these were funds that we already had in the capital.
$200,000 appropriated in the capital.
And you buried the lead. The good news is they're back open for business and they will be entertaining
Those are the concerns.
people this summer.
And they're very excited.
Anybody know who Pitbull is?
Everybody my age and younger.
11.
Only one you have question on? I will say that he's been in the news because he's Cuban American, so if you Google him, you might be able to find him.
Very big in Europe.
This is exciting. This is good news for our city. All right, any questions for Isan? All right, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the stormwater pipe and cave-in repairs. I've got a motion.
Second.
And a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you. Looks like you're doing our next one.
So we were also contacted by Alion Science and Technology, the tech company in the airport industrial park. They are running out of space in their facility. Sorry, to show you the disclosure statements. So they're running out of space in their facility, and they're asking us if they could set up two Conex Boxes, 40 foot each, in their parking lot. In the back, you cannot see them. The red dots here. Funny how when you get those sorts of emails and you research the company, and it's this great company and doing some great engineering technology work for our military. So we would ask if give us permission for them to set up their boxes in the parking lot.
Do they still have enough parking afterwards?
It looks like it was in the rear where nobody would be.
And you cannot see them from the public right away, and they have the pond in the back, so.
Looked like there was landscaping back there. Do we know how long they're gonna need to have them?
Well, I did ask the question if it's, they said as long as their lease is maintained. They're definitely in desperate need of space.
That's good. All right, any questions for Isan on this one? If not, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the installation of the two Conex boxes. So we've got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries.
Madam Chair, can I have a motion?
I think it was Dot Wood.
I know, he made the
Oh.
motion, I second.
Oh,
There you go. Thank you.
you're up again for number 3, huh?
This time.
Makes it easier, you see. You didn't need the steps.
Quick update on our design criteria and the Proffers. We had a very, very busy day on Friday. And almost didn't make the deadline, but thanks to Alex and his magic, somehow he convinced others to give us like a little extension. We have So basically, the purpose is like to provide guidance on land use, site design, all the other site design and design criteria for the other developable parcels in the park. I shared that last time. Thanks to Emily, Svetla, we're having beautiful now one document, easy to read, easy to navigate. We're no longer doing with the other proffers, so we're eliminating everything except for this document, which encompasses everything that has to do with the site design and the building design. This is basically just saying what we're doing. We did send a letter to all other existing businesses in the park to let them know if they can join our application. It would be much easier for them and they wouldn't have no application fee. We had one single business, one applicant, Radius Media Group, LLC. And so they're joining our application.
Did you get any complaints from other businesses about the fact that we were amending or modifying the proffers?
Well, we have one Alex received a letter from Kitty Hawk, from their attorney, and asking for some waivers and everything, and we knew that. I mean, either the existing design criteria or the new ones, they will need some waivers, just because of the nature of, stations, transformers, and that sort of things. They're definitely gonna need a fence for security reasons and that sort of things, so they will need waivers.
This is part of their title objection letter.
Oh, okay,
They were identifying portions of the corporate landing guidelines.
The original guidelines.
Original, but the new ones aren't gonna help them.
Okay.
That we'll have to bring back to you as we get closer to modify, but we knew that going in.
And for the public, it's important that the Kitty Hawk project that Isan is referring to is essentially the substation that will carry the Avangrid renewables, offshore wind energy as it comes ashore. So it's a fundamentally different use than we see in other parts of the park, which is why we put them on the back.
This is our schedule. We're really looking at it on May 18th. August 11th, Billy made that deadline, planning commission, and city council September 7th or the 21st.
And essentially, Isan, the modification of the proffers is gonna take all the design criteria out of the proffers and put them in these design guideline manual.
Because before, we had so many site design criteria that went above and beyond the zoning ordinance. So basically now we're more aligned, with zoning ordinance. Setbacks, parking, landscaping.
Madam Chair, if I may, just for context, what Isan is referring to is the fact that it's been, so in the 3 years that I've been here, I don't think we've had a single project in the park come through that hasn't required some modification. And it simply speaks to the fact that the proffers on the park are 35 years old. Built at a time when red brick was the preferred means of development in the community. What we see now is design criteria have changed, and we're simply modifying these proffers to be more consistent with what we're seeing in the corporate office space and industrial space today.
And we still have the ability to grant waivers or.
Yes, ma'am.
Like we use on a case by case. All right, any,
It's key because we have quite a few developments in the works. And basically they cannot even make their site plan submittal without this being adopted by council.
they need to know what the rules are.
That's right.
All right, any questions for Isan or Taylor? All right, the chair will entertain a motion. Well, actually, I guess we don't need a motion. That was just an update on the design guidelines. All right. Thank you very much, Isan. The next item is a request for approval of resolution for an extension for Proofrex. Good morning.
Madam Chair, members of the authority. UIP request extension for Proofrex.
and for disclosures. So just some background, Proofrex is a German-based manufacturing company that located here in 2013. Project numbers as of yesterday, they have a capital investment of $5.7 million. They have met their job target, which is 60 jobs. The average wage is roughly $44,000. What that doesn't include is that within the past month, they've had a 10% increase in hourly wage, 7% increase in supervisor wages. So in 2013, they were granted $120,000 for Commonwealth Opportunity Fund, as well as the match $120,000 in EDIP. This was based on $7.3 million in capital investment and 60 jobs. They actually could have qualified for roughly a little over $300,000 under EDIP Part A based on their current investment. So some of the challenges, the COF was forwarded to Proofrex due to several administrative challenges in 2017 and in 2018. The deadline to request an extension for VEDP's performance period was missed. They did request that COF be returned to them. So in September 15 of last year, to ensure that they stayed here and wouldn't be forced to move if they had to repay that COF, we approved $120,000 in EDIP so the payment could be used to repay the COF. This was contingent on the original capital investment and job goals met within 6 months, which would have been March 15th of this year. The job numbers have been met. They are $1.5 million short in their capital investment target. So our recommendation right now is to allow for a 1-year extension for them to meet this capital investment goal while the economy and labor market stabilizes. Any questions? Sure.
Just quickly, you said the jobs criteria has been met. On the first page it said 60, but next to that it said 6 openings. Could you clarify, do we really have 54 jobs and 6 more to go? Or do we reach 60 and they just happen through turnover to have 6 openings?
Paige, I'll take that one. They have 60 employed today and are looking for 6 more. Company is growing.
Okay, so they have 60 active employees.
60 active employees.
And then as far as the investment, could you go back to the screen? So they're like 1.7-ish.
That's
Short.
1.6, 1.7 that we're short, but and so important to note about this one. This is one you'll remember. We're in this position because this COF matured without us seeking extensions at a time when there was without leaders, at the time that the director's position was vacant. And so we missed the windows during a time of transition for the office when we had a very large vacancy. We worked through this with, you all will remember, we worked through this with the Commonwealth, tried to save this award over the course of a year. It was my first year here, and we just did not have the support. The Commonwealth was unable to extend the award. The company, let's just say, in meeting with the CEO of the company in Germany on this issue, it was clear to me that that taking what would have been $240,000 in working capital from the company at that point in their tenure here would have likely ended in them leaving the market. And so you'll remember we basically, recognizing that the investment had been made in the jobs that were in place satisfied our $120,000 EDIP. We then elected, working with the city attorney and with the Commonwealth, to find a way to repay the money. The important thing to note, the $120,000 Commonwealth Opportunity Fund, our traditional practice is to hold that money until performance is reached. A determination was made when this company was recruited under the old EDIP policy to advance those funds before the company had performed. So it's important to note the $120,000 and from the Commonwealth and the $120,000 from the city had been advanced prior to performance by the company. So that's what creates, one of the things that we changed in 2019 in the new policy shortly after I got here is we only pay on performance now. You've taken, you and City Council supported you in taking away my discretionary authority to advance an incentive ahead of performance. But that said, in working through this with the company was growing at this point. They just had not met the obligation. And so in the interest of staying with them, you all made a decision to do a second EDIP under the business retention provision of the EDIP to save this company. The caveat that was put on that was that they hit certain milestones or that they have to pay half of that money back. The thing we were most interested in at the time of that conversation was the jobs, because we were about 38 jobs and they were struggling to hire. Even in the pandemic, they found a way to get to hire 60 people. They've raised their wages. They're looking for 6 more. This is a company, they've added contracts and they are growing. We are still dealing, and I think anyone in the manufacturing space will tell you that the equipment is a challenge right now given some of the disruption in the supply chain and raw materials. And so this is a company that we do believe will hit their capital investment threshold as well. We need a little more time to let the market restabilize.
And what's it gonna take? Is it equipment that they need to buy? Is it?
So for capital investment, I mean, I don't anticipate that we're looking at an expansion of the facility at this point. So it would have to be some sort of something like equipment that could be charged, that could be listed as a capital expenditure that we could verify and then bring back to you. So yes, ma'am, I think it's most likely equipment, but it's important for me to note that there are other opportunities to qualify for the award beyond equipment, but we believe that's most probable here.
Have they given you a plan to get to the 1.6 number?
I do not have that. Laura was gonna make this presentation. She's had a little emergency that she's dealing with, but we'll get that information to you.
I'll move the extension.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion carries. All right, the next is administrative information. Do we have any comments from commissioners? I will say, I don't know if anybody saw Virginia Business Magazine. There was an article on influential female executives, and our own Neka Chiazor made that list.
Beautiful picture of her.
Nice picture. And also Krista Costa from Devaros here in the city made the list. So congratulations to them. Taylor, I think we're up to you.
Just quickly want to take an opportunity to recognize 3 new professionals. Thanks to all of the 2 of whom you've heard from today, but thanks to all of you and to the community. As you all know, we've been through the process of restaffing this team for some time now, and I'd like to introduce our new employees as they come through. You've heard from 2 of our new professionals who in their first meeting got to present to you, and I will say just for both of you, great job, ladies. But want to welcome Paige McGraw, who's joined us. Paige has been with the city for 3 or 4 years now.
4 years.
For 3 years, she was with the city clerk, and we were impressed. Not just us, but also City Council, well impressed with the work that Paige did for Amanda, our city clerk, and we were delighted when she applied and came over. Devin Cowie, who most of you will know, has been with our GrowSmart team for 4 or 5?
5 years.
5 years. But again, in addition to exceptional work with GrowSmart, Devin did a great job of serving as our liaison to the GrowSmart Foundation, and again was very. Had an opportunity to directly interact with businesses in the community, did a fine job there. And again, so glad to have her. And then Christina Kwan, who has joined us from the city of New York, who's with us in the Hive today, or at present, joined us as a business development rep too. And again, we're just looking for great things from all 3 of these ladies, and I'm so glad that they've joined the team. I'll give one more report. I owe you all an accountant. As you all know, we've been trying to.
We do need an accountant.
Yeah, we've been actively recruiting for an accountant for about 6 months now. Thanks to the finance department who has loaned us Blake Huffman 3 or 4 times to help us sort of keep the trains moving. One of the he made his report and he's running back to the finance department. Year right now, but we've been struggling with the same with the same staffing challenges that everyone in the region is facing right now. And so where we've been actively sourcing this position for about 6 months, we've only had 2 applicants to date that actually have a CPA. One of the things that, in a discussion with Lyndon, but also with some of you, I can't endorse bringing someone in as the Development Authority's accountant who's not a certified public accountant. I think it's just it is a critical need. It's a critical requirement for filling this position here. Great news. Had a very productive conversation with our own human resources group yesterday afternoon, and an even more encouraging conversation this morning that I believe will lead to us filling this position. Obviously, we've got to do interviews. We've got to go through the process and recruit someone. But I'm confident that we are much closer to filling this position than we were 24 hours ago. And so this is, again, and if you want to know what's been keeping me up at night, it's the fact that I don't have an accountant for my department or for this authority. So, or for parking services right now, because this person does all 3. So it's a great day for me to actually have that one moving.
Hopefully we'll have that maybe next meeting, or is that too soon?
My goal is that by the time we reconvene in August, that I'm introducing our new accountant.
That would be great, yeah. Somebody's got to write the check, right? All right. Anything else for the good of the group? Seems hard to believe, but we've come to the end of the regular agenda. After the last couple of months' meetings. All right, the chair will entertain a motion to recess into a closed session pursuant to the exemptions from open meetings allowed by section 2.2-3711A Code of Virginia as amended for the following purposes. Prospective business or industry, discussion concerning a prospective business or industry or the expansion of an existing business or industry where no previous announcement has been made of the businesses or industry's interest in locating or expanding its facilities in the community pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A5, and publicly held property, discussion or consideration of the acquisition of real property for a public purpose or of the disposition of publicly held real property where discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A3. Can I get a motion? Moved. We've got a motion.
Second.
And a second. All in favor? We've got to do a voice vote, right?
David Byrne.
Yay.
William Brown.
Yes.
William Brunke.
Yes.
Heather Franklin.
Yes.
Kenny Morgan.
Yes.
Lisa Murphy.
Yes.
Joe Strange.
Yes.
Scott Wood.
Yes.
And I missed.
Gunter.
Use your rising seal.